Hello everyone, welcome to the first of 2025's episodes. Here we are at Silverstone on a national layout for the first weekend of the season. Slightly chilly, but nevertheless spring day up at Silverstone Friday just before we get going. Come with me and I'll talk you around the track. So we're at start finish straight now. This is where we're going to be starting the race tomorrow afternoon and Sunday. Heading up to a very infamous corner called Cops. I'm going to break a trend here. It's not the most important corner of the track, but equally there are only 4 proper corners on this layout, so it takes very small adjustments to get the best out of it. Unique challenge. It's very much a slipstream battle, but with a nice short run down to turn 1. As long as you get a fairly decent start, you can make the move into turn 1. Join us up there. So, as we're walking up towards Cops now, as you can see, if you come in as if you were a driver's eye line, the sort of about here really, the actual corner you can't see, blind. So you have to turn in with a little bit of faith, and it takes a few laps to sort of get your eye in here in terms of where the apex is. If you're on the rumble strip, you can upset the car quite a bit on the way in. The rumble strip on the way out is very vicious, and if you catch it wrong, which you are pretty much on the limit all the way through, very either direction, particularly the front wheel drive car. So looks quite straightforward, but it's not. It's actually quite a challenging corner. Obviously, you have to put it into context, and F1 car comes through here flat, maybe 8th gear. We are a little bit of a break. It's about, if you get a good run, it's about 100 mile an hour. Not all the way through, and if you get it right, through right back like that. So, talking to hit the apex, it's quite a difficult corner to get right. So you want a late apex, but equally if you run too late, you end up on the dirty part of the track. So you want to get it just enough, so you'll skip it pretty much here, but you don't want to be any further than that. Partly because it's pressure plates, but then you take it too narrow and it runs you wide. So you have to be pretty much bang on every time you come through here. Otherwise, you lose so much lap time all the way down. Effectively, what is straight on this track or this layout. The Mini, particularly Cooper, quite costly. And as you can see, the amount of debris that is offline here, lose a lot of time very quickly. You might be lucky if you just run wide, but you could pick up the car here and it throws you inwards or throws you into a tank sap and throws you straight into the wide. So we get to the point where we're thinking about braking now. Yeah, as you can see, on a worn out paint. Really hard on the brake. And then you want to be in the middle. You want a straight line to it and narrow up there. Make your entry narrow. But you want to leave enough so much so that you're not losing time, and then you pretty much use all the road and more on the way up. Wow. You're braking about here.
You're braking for?
What, seeing sick? You've got to do a 180 degree corner.
You're only in a Mini. What's that, Dan?
That's the pain. That isn't going in the
That's a restaurant, darling. That is worth more than my house. What, these? Am I not?
No. So, now down here at what is effectively turn 2, but it's technically turn 3.
What's it called?
Don't know. Oh. So, well, it is maggots, but it's not at the same time. So, obviously, it's maggots and Beckett, and then out to Chapel, all the way down the straight is a normal layout. However, we cut across onto the national layout, which takes you back up the Wellington straight up there. Here, you want to be all over the curb as much as you can, but it's all about momentum through here. You don't want to. This is probably the most critical corner to see your lap time.
So this is the most important corner?
It is the most important. If you get this right, you'll have the most gains from lap time in terms of, because you want the longest straight line part of the circuit. So if you get this right, if you don't mess up the complex at the end of the lap, you're doing all right. We use a lot of runoff on the exit here, which we'll get to in a moment. Now, really good and very late exit. It looks quite straightforward, it's not. Soft camber, it's downhill brake, target for light nerves, I think. Although it always looks like pretty straightforward, it's not, it's more setting yourself up for probably the most serious. So, pretty much, on your way in, you see the old track rejoins, you want to miss all of that. This is sort of where you want to be aiming. So a lot of it is pretty much get your braking done pretty early, and then gradually build up the throttle through here, but not too much so that you end up running too wide over there. Compromise Luffield. Because Luffield is, again, important to see lap time. Here, is always a bit of a compromise. It's a good overtaking opportunity, but also this whole section is a good overtaking opportunity because there's no right or wrong way to go through here. You can go through here multiple different ways and make it work depending on what scenario you're in. Nice little section. Love feels a bit of a pain. Never feel like you take enough speed through, but in some respects you want to drive it 75% to get the best out of it. Bit of uphill, lot of drag, where to stop. So we're going into the uphill. Next corner up. Easy flat in pretty much any car. But yeah, max mileage you run out here all the way up to the start finish just onwards. Subscribe, keep an eye out for future videos.